Welcome back to the Designed as You profile line series within the podcast and YouTube. So today we are going to be moving through the 4 profile line. This is all about people, connection, but most importantly, your connection and sense of self. I think that's often missed when we speak about the 4 profile line. So, as you know, if you've been listening to the past episodes, your profile is your role here. It's who you are here to embody, to share and contribute to this world in. It's if when you're in this energy of your true self energy of your profile, life is easier. You receive abundantly. Your life feels fulfilled and feels true and feels purposeful because you're in your true self essence. It's funny that if you do the thing that feels natural and good and what you're here for, of course you receive from that. And of course you feel your best from that. The problem is a lot of us are trying to be something we're not or feeling like we have to be something we're not. We learn this at a very young age as a child. We learn that you have this unwritten agreement with often your caregivers that I will be who I think you want me to be in order to be loved and accepted. They don't even have to say anything. They don't even have to tell you that. It's your perception that creates this almost contract with yourself of I need to be a certain way in order to be loved and accepted. And this is the beauty of human design, is that it comes back and awakens you to know your true nature, your true essence, the person that you were born to be. That's for a reason, that you don't have to be anything that you're not. And that we come to this world as a child and we feel in our true self and we're nothing to prove, nothing to gain, throwing fits, throwing tantrums, knowing that you are still lovable. And we, along the way, receive conditioning or beliefs that tell us that that isn't allowed, that we won't be loved. And we, as a human, we need to have a sense of belonging. That is a survival instinct. That is a survival need. And so if our sense of belonging is at threat, we will throw out our authenticity. And there's been so many studies now that authenticity is the biggest indicator of whether you will be happy or not, or whether you are going to feel at peace or fulfilled in your life. So that's what we're doing here with human design, is that we're reconnecting you with that. We're reconnecting you with your body, your intuition, your path, your purpose, your energy, your gifts, and your role here. And that's where we bring in the profile, is this is your role, and gives you full permission to make decisions around that. Now, it is so important to be following your authority and your strategy. So that's your intuition and that's how your energy best works. So we want to be thinking that's the most fundamental way that we're going to use our energy and what is true for us, what we're here to do and what we're here to create. And then we want to be thinking about your profile, or feeling into your profile is a better way of saying it. Less thinking. Let's think less and feel more. Because when we feel and embody our true nature, that's where we open up to possibilities, open up to opportunities. We open up to our limitless nature where everything is on offer for us. So 4 lines, let's dive into your profile type. Let's remember that you have 2 profile lines. You have your conscious, your first number, and your unconscious. It's what other people see in you. So you have your 2 numbers. And if one of them is a 4, then this is your video. So your profile is a combination of 2 lines, which then makes up your profile. So we have in total 12 profiles that are a combination of the 6 profile lines. So if you want to go deeper, and we do this in the certification, there is a whole different meaning for when the 2 numbers come together. But for now, I think it's really great information. You can apply it so readily and easily by understanding each profile line, because you are the embodiment of both. This is why sometimes people feel like a bit of a walking contradiction, because you do have 2 sides to your personality, one on the conscious and one on the subconscious. You have your first number of your profile within your human design chart, and then you have your second. And you want to think about the first number is your conscious awareness. This is how you see yourself. The second number is in your subconscious. It is what other people see in you. And so both parts of you are very present and very important. It's not like one is more important than the other, but where you're consciously aware, you may be more consciously leveraging and living and embodying and activating that. Where you're in your subconscious is what people look to you. If you think about it in a neuroscience perspective, your subconscious is what is creating your actions and is generating your reality. So when you can be aware of your subconscious, and again, be in the higher expression, because within the profiles, you're going to have a higher and a lower expression. So we want to be leveraging and stepping into the higher expression, which is your highest, truest self. And this is what's going to create what you desire in the world. You know, your energy matters, and how you move through the world and the energy behind your action dictates what you receive and dictates its outcome. So when you can move in your highest self frequency, you will create and manifest what you desire. Whereas when you're in your lower self, it is just a beautiful awareness when you're in this not self behavior of your profile. So that might be imposter syndrome, that might be dimming your light, that might be hiding yourself, that might be overly perfectionist or people pleasing. We'll go through them all. It's great awareness. So you also have a combination of all the profile lines. That's also what a lot of people don't realize, is that in your chart, you have multiple placements of profile lines. Yes, you have your main one, which is the one that you will say on your chart on the profile side, but you have multiple different types. So if this relates, if this resonates, I'm sure you have it in other aspects of your chart. So look to your human design chart. I will put the link below that you can receive your free chart on my website. My chart system will give you a lot more information than just your regular on the internet. So definitely generate, it's free. And then look to your profile and just remember that it's going to create a whole nother meaning when you bring the two profile lines together. This is where human design gets very nuanced and very deep. And then from there, come back to this recording. Also check out my energy type videos, because that is the most important part of your human design. And once you know that, once you understand how to use your energy, this profile is the archetype in which you can embody. So what I love about archetypes is that we can lean into that. We can fully express ourselves in that. And we can embody this archetype, because the power of archetypes is that we can then consciously allow our energy to express or move in that way. I used as an example in one of the first episodes was, if you think about the queen or the king archetype, when you envision that energy of truth, of knowing, of calmness, of authority, of unwavering, that you can then move through the world from that place. And so when we come at the profile lines and understand, this is my journey here, this is my energy, this is who I am, so I can fully embody that, fully express that, give from that place. And this is my process. When we don't understand our process, we can have a lot of shame and look to other people and be like, why does it just seem to work for them? Or why can they do that thing and it works out, but for me, it doesn't? And so when we think about the profiles, we have so much just acceptance, and we can then gain the blessings in our process rather than feel like it should be another way or that we're wrong. Okay, so let's dive into the 4-line profile. Now, the 4-line is commonly known as the Opportunist, and I just wanted to give you the permission to totally release that name, because really at the end of the day, you just understand people. You understand that everything in a life is around connection to others and connection to yourself and connection to the divine, because through that you get to experience all that is possible, and you are able to receive the divine intelligence, the understanding, the ideas, the growth that we are all here for. So because you truly understand this, you are the people person. And again, it can often be spoken about being the networker, but you would hate, 4-lines do not like to network in the traditional sense. You don't like to go into a room full of strangers and work the room. That is not a 4-line. If anything, that is more of a 5-line thing. A 4-line is true, deep connection with people that you mesh with, people that you gel with, people that you feel naturally connected to. So it's not about forcing relationships that don't align with you or work in the room of strangers. A lot of 4-lines actually feel like massive introverts. I just want to remind you of that. It's so funny. People have such a wrong misconception around 4-lines or feel like something might be wrong with them. No, a 4-line is about true deep connection, not just surface level friendships. So what the 4-line role here is following their strategy and authority, what they feel called to do, create, be, live in the world, and know that your greatest gift is your ability to connect. Your greatest gift is to be able to see people deeply. Your greatest gift is to be able to form bonds and relationships and collaboration with people so that it's better in numbers. And I want to remind you that I think we forget this, even in the spiritual community, that we are more powerful in numbers. And, I think we see this in more traditional roles where it's like your wealth is who you know. And that is the true, even in our new paradigm businesses, that your network, the people you know, your ability to connect with your clients. Like when people come into your spaces, they stay in your spaces. They want to experience all of it because they truly feel connected and loyal to you. And that is the gift of the 4 line. And you are a very loyal person as well. So your focus is always interpersonal. And as I said, life is all about our relationships. So you get that. You get that and you succeed from that. And you also feel deeply fulfilled and loved in those relationships. So people is always going to be a very important part of your process, but that always has to start with your connection to self. If you don't feel connected to yourself, then you can only go so far to connect to other people. And I just want to remind you as well that some people aren't able to connect to your level of depth because they haven't connected to that inside of themselves. And no shame, no judgment, nothing that they are doing wrong. It's just that you can only meet someone in the level that you have met yourself. So the deeper you go within, the deeper you'll be able to connect with your outside world. And so it is so important. And again, it's often missed with the 4 line is your connection to self, because your connection to self is your foundational piece. Because if you don't have that, you can be swayed and you can be people pleasing and you can always feel like you're doing everything for everyone else and you're not focusing on you. The 4 line is often the glue that holds people together. It is the matriarch or the patriarch. It's the person that people look to. You often have lots of different friends from lots of different places. And notice if that isn't the case for you, where don't you open up to connection? Where don't you let yourself be in deep relationship? Because the thing is that in order to be in deep relationship, you need to be vulnerable. You need to show your true self, your imperfect self, because that's what people love. People love truth. People love authenticity, not some perfected mask. And so if you're not feeling in deep relationship with people, and I used to really experience this, it was because I wasn't letting people see my true self. I wasn't taking down my barriers. I wasn't letting people in. And so it is so important to move through a journey as a 4 line, to feel safe, to open your heart, to connect fully, to share intimately and deeply, and use your discernment, because it's not for everyone. You're not meant to force relationships that you just don't gel with, and it's going to feel very intuitive. You're going to kind of know pretty quickly on if that person's for you. And it's so important as a 4 line not to force relationships just because you feel like you should, or just because that will make you a better person. If you actually force relationships that are not for you, it actually takes you further away from your purpose and from your authenticity and from your life force. So trust where you feel called in the relationships you feel called, and as well with your clients, with your colleagues. I often say that a lot of the opportunities for people that are a 4 line will come through their network, through the people that they know. It's rarely usually some random experience. It will be like this person knew this person and they shared this, and, like leverage your contacts, leverage your people, because they're not by accident. The people in your vortex are all about fostering and harnessing and flourishing your purpose. But you also need to ask for support. 4 lines forget that. 4 lines are so busy doing everything for everyone else that they forget that they also can receive. They can also ask, and they need to, because people always will think a 4 line's fine. 4 lines got it. 4 line doesn't need my help. You're the one that people come to. So they won't realize unless you ask, and be really honest in that. So the quality of your life is determinant on the quality of your relationships. You're designed to be selective. You're designed to put your energy in relationships that feel meaningful and feel true for you. And from there, not only will that relationship flourish, but you will flourish within that. Collaborations are really beautiful for 4 lines. Deep, intimate work is really beautiful for 4 lines. Also, deep relationships, like again, surface level will not cut it for a 4 line. And you have to be open for that. You need to go first and be the vulnerable one. You need to go first to be the kind and loving and accepting one. Because if you come forward with judgment, you will only receive judgment. And like some people might not value relationships as much as you do. And that's important to note. Like I have my auntie, if you're listening, love you. Her relationships are everything in life. And she has such a really close friendship group that she's had since she was in high school. And some people don't get that. Some people don't get like how your friendships can be your most important relationships. But to her as a 4 line, her friendships are the same as family, are the same as romantic, are the same as colleagues. Like it's all relationships are important. So that's really you as a 4 line. Don't judge yourself for not vibing with everyone. You're not going to. It's just if you force it, they feel it. The other person feels it if you're forcing it. And then it just makes the whole thing awkward. So no forcing, just connecting with the people that you connect with, and then flourishing, growing, and like expanding who you can be in that dynamic and in that relationship. I love to think of the saying, people are in for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And that is so true for four lines. You thrive in the right environment, around the right people. Like I have a lot of four lines in my life. My really good friend is a four line, and like the environments that she's in, the people that she's around, you know, it impacts her so much. Like it is such a necessity to be in spaces that feel good for you, around people that feel good for you. Like it is so important that you choose the people that surround you, because you become a product of the people that you surround yourself with. You're an example of the five most people you give your energy and you give your time to. So choose wisely. And from there, look around, like how can you give and contribute to your people? You're already doing it naturally. You're the one that plans things. You're the one that does all the bringing of people together. And sometimes that can feel frustrating for you. If you're noticing resentment happening because you're always the one that has to make the plans and you're always the one that has to do it, just know like people look to you for that. And it's okay if you don't want to do that anymore. If you feel like you want more support, ask for it. Again, people assume that you want to do it because it is in your natural energy. They see you as a fall line. So it's about honoring your energy. What is expanding you in this season and what is constricting and draining you? And then move and align in that way. So the four person naturally connects, but you still need your introverted time. You still need your time to yourself, but you come alive in your connections, and you come alive when you, most importantly, are in deep connection with yourself. You are deeply influential in your group. People see you as a voice of reason. People see you as someone that has a big heart and loves fully. They see you as their rock. They see you as the one who holds them all together. And what a gift. What a gift you are to your people and for your clients. And make sure that you receive from that as well. Make sure that you get the energy back. Notice when you don't let yourself receive. A lot of four lines struggle to receive, or they've gone through a process of struggling to receive. They're always the one giving, and not receiving. And this is where I said resentment builds up, and that's not beneficial to your relationships. It's not beneficial to yourself to build resentment because you're the one suffering. You're the one that has that resentment feeling, and that feels terrible in the body. So ask for support, ask for help, ask for advice. You don't always have to be the one that holds it all together. You don't always have to be the one that organizes everything. But notice when your ego wants to be that. That's the not self of the four line, is that their ego feels like they have to control everything, that they have to be the one that does everything. But then they resentful that they have to do it. So it's no one can win because it's like, I need to control everything, but then I'm also resentful that you don't do it or you don't help me. So this is the journey of realizing and remembering that you are like the queen of your group or the king of your group. You are the matriarch or the glue that holds people together, and people love you and look to you and want you around and feel deeply connected to you. And at the same time, yeah, like honoring that role. And at the same time, noticing where the weight starts to feel a bit heavy, noticing where you're taking on more than you want to, or that you want to be responsible for, or that you can really in this moment handle, and be really honest with that and communicate that and set boundaries around that. Remember, most of the time it's just setting boundaries for yourself. A boundary doesn't even need to be communicated, only if the time calls for it and it needs to be. Oftentimes it's a boundary with yourself of, okay, well, I'm no longer going to be available for that. So I'm not going to jump in and offer my services, or I'm not going to overgive in this moment. Notice when you go to overgive and you stop and you take a breath and you pull back. And friendship and connection will be the foundation of everything that you do. So lean into that, leverage that. That is who you are. Get to know people first. Feel their energy. Sense, like let your intuition tell you, and let your intuition always guide you. And remember, you are best of service when you do something that you love, that feels natural, that feels exciting, and you contribute to your community. You're here to create community. And that will naturally happen when you follow your strategy and authority. So when you follow your gut excitements, when you follow your curiosities, when you follow your instincts, when you follow your emotions, like whatever your body is feeling and calling you into, and remember that you're here to spread joy. You're here to give from an overflowing cup. You're not here to give from an empty cup. So you got to look after yourself first. You got to take care of yourself. And then from there, you overflow and give to your people. And that's where you're best of service. So follow your strategy and authority, and you will naturally be guided to your people, the ones that you're here to serve, and also the ones that you're here to receive from. And as I said, notice where, you might have a fear of vulnerability, a fear of rejection. I know I have a 4/6 client who fears rejection. And so that means she doesn't put herself in these situations. She's just learned human design and she wants to start sharing and creating events and a community, but there's such a fear of rejection of, will anyone come to my events? Or will anyone even care what I have to say? And I told her that she needs to start the thing, she needs to create the thing, and then your people will come. You can't wait for the people to come and then you create. That's not how it works. You create and then your people will come. And just trust that if you have a desire, it's because there is a need in your community that implanted that desire within you. I see this all the time within my spaces and in my retreats. They'll tell me like, this came at the perfect timing. You knew that I needed it and you created it. And I say that's how it works intuitively. I connected to the intuition of need of this is what's needed in the collective right now. I have a desire now to create it, and so I do. So this is what you do as a 4-line. You're constantly connected with your community to the collective, and you know what is needed. And then you get to have fun with it. You get to create from a place of joy, create from a place of what you want to do in the world, what makes you lit up, what excites you, because that's exactly what the world needs. It's never random what you want to do. It's never random where your intuition is taking you, where your life force, your prana, your bliss, that's directing you to exactly what people need. And this is your path of success and fulfillment and abundance. So trust it and just you wait. The random or the synchronistic people that come into your life just by you following your strategy and authority. Stop trying to control the process. That's the biggest thing of a 4-line. When you try and control everything and everything has to be a certain way, you cut yourself off to the divine possibilities and miracles that can happen in every moment that you flow and go with life. And that's just simply surrendering to your intuition. Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to whom? And you follow each step, each breadcrumb as it comes, and you see who you become in the process and all the people and opportunities that start to come out of nowhere. I love this idea of coming out of nowhere, but then now it's here. Nowhere, now here. Same word. It's just came out of nowhere, now it's here. And it's so funny. We don't trust it before it comes, but then it makes so much sense in hindsight. So we need to trust now, release control, allow life to support and to contribute. It's not just you. You don't have to do everything alone. You don't have to be the one that holds everything and like grips onto everything. Let go, release, trust yourself, trust where you feel called, and know that you're always supported, and know that life will send exactly what you need as you move forward. So that's your video, 4 lines, coming back to your true self energy of connection, intimacy, contribution, life force, love. Like 4 lines are just so beautiful. My mum's also a 4-line. I feel like you want to be around a 4-line that's in their highest expression. And also as well, if you're in relationship with a 4-line, like connect with them, be present with them. They just know the hack of life. They know the most important thing in life is your relationships. So thank you so much for listening, 4-lines. If you want to dive in deeper, definitely check out the Advanced Human Design Certification. It'll have all the depth that you love. And also it has the beautiful community that you may be waiting for. If you're a 4-line and feeling like you don't have the like-minded community, I just want to implore you to go out, find them and create them. And if you feel called, the Advanced Human Design Certification has the most beautiful community. I love seeing them meet up in real life, voice noting each other, practicing giving each other human design readings, supporting each other in their journey. It can be really hard in like these types of journeys where you may feel like the black sheep, or you may feel like no one really understands you in your everyday life or in your family or in your friends. And so having relationships that can support you through this journey of deconditioning and of awakening to your true nature, it is so important. I see it as like the most important piece of my journey. I had 2 specific friends who I walked side by side with, who, if I didn't have them, I don't know if I would be here today, because it is scary doing new things, and it's scary to break generational patterns and to dare to live differently and to quit unfulfilling jobs that everyone's, what are you doing? Isn't that meant to be the thing that we work for? And, when you live differently, we need other like-minded light beings or souls who can vision hold for you, who can champion you, who can celebrate you and support you, because we need that as humans. So if you want to dive into the advanced certification, I'd love to have you. I'd love you to join our community. If your strategy and authority, if your intuition is guiding you here, just know that there's something here for you. I'll put all the links below. Thank you for listening to this 4-line profile video. Next up will be the 5-line, dropping tomorrow. Stay tuned. It's such a pleasure to have you here.